Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? Bioshock's here today to bring you a review of One Piece Chapter 1044. The scans came out like a few days ago from where I'm recording today, but I wanted to wait until the official Viz scans came out before I did a video to just make sure there was no mistranslations anywhere within the chapter. Thankfully, when Viz came out, there wasn't any at all, so everything was relatively the same. So with that out of the way, we can go on and talk about this chapter.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for.
And before I get into it, if you are not caught up with the manga, if you're anime only, if you do not want to be spoiled,
Stop it.
leave this video now. If you don't care, you put the burden on yourself.
You're an idiot.
So, you've been warned. So, let's get on into the chapter. This chapter, 1044, is called Warrior of Liberation.
America, fuck yeah, coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah.
The first complaint I have about this chapter is, I would say my only complaint about this chapter is the placement of the Hiyori and Orochi segment. I believe that should have probably been put right at the beginning, because where it's placed, it's like you're too distracted at that point with the Luffy stuff to care about the Orochi stuff. Granted, Orochi is a great villain, and most people cannot stand him because he's a vile, scummy person. But it's to the point now where it's like you got Luffy and Kaido with Luffy's awakening. You got the Gorosei hyping up Luffy's devil fruit. And then boom, here's Hiyori and Orochi. Like,
We don't care.
I don't care. So I definitely believe that would have done better at the beginning of the chapter. Kind of a nice way to ease people into the chapter. People could be more invested in it at that point. I would believe so. Even though the chapter we came off of 1043, kind of hard, but a 2-week break I feel like would have been good enough to have it at the beginning of the chapter so people could actually have some investment in it. Regardless, it's a good segment. It's pretty much Orochi's done. Essentially, Orochi's dead at this point. Kanjuro, it's obvious, yes, because that's an Omar. And Yori has had her revenge. But she does mention about how Kazuki's always keep their promises. What she meant by that, I don't know. Maybe it's a promise they made to Joy Boy in the 800 years ago. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But that definitely could have been done at the beginning of the chapter. Kind of distracting from the main juice of this chapter. The Gorosei talking about Luffy's fruit. For the most part, I had no problem with. I know there's still a decent amount of people that's kind of iffy and kind of whining about Luffy being a mythical Zoan now.
It's just as I expected.
I personally have no problem with it because at the end of the day, he's still a rubber man, but of a different brand. He's not Trojan or Durex, so it's all good. Those who had elaborated on it, of course, we all remember that chapter. I'll put the link. I'll put the annotation up here, somewhere right here. We're gonna go check out that video. But this has been at least foreshadowed for a decent amount of time. It was foreshadowed. I still believe Oda has foreshadowed this inside Skypiea. With the campfire scene, the scene of Luffy dancing around the campfire, and parallels well with from the chapter of Jinbei and Who's Who, the sun god Nika. Because Oda has been on record and said prior to that, his favorite panel of One Piece is the campfire scene from Skypiea.
Hold up.
But this is too huge to be a retcon. I firmly believe Oda's had this planned out from the start. The human fruit, mythical Zoan model, Nika.
What did you say?
Because they do, the Gorosei do talk about how the world government have been trying to go after this fruit, the Gum for 100 years, the Gumu. And then it's followed up by how Zoans have a will of their own. And then from the Gorosei themselves, awakening brings his rubbery body greater physical strength and freedom. It is said that in all of the world, there is no power more ridiculous.
That is crazy.
No power more ridiculous. People were freaking out saying Luffy's got the most OP fruit in the verse.
Huh? Wake up.
I still believe at this point in time, Blackbeard has the most powerful fruit. With the Yami Yami no Mi. You have to take wording into consideration with Oda. But Oda is a very, very detailed person when it comes to wording, when it comes to dialogue. This chapter proves that. We are 1,044 chapters into this series.
That's quite big.
And we're just now learning Luffy's real devil fruit. what the real name is, what it really is. It's not what we thought for years and years and years and years and years and years.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
This was obviously Joy Boy's fruit 800 years ago. It had to be. There's another explanation. How does that tie into Emu? And we'll see going further down the road. We will see. But now that we've talked about Hiyori and the Gorosei, let's talk about the meat and taters. The meat and taters of this chapter. Now, initially, everyone feeling Luffy. Sanji was my favorite one. Sanji was the favorite one I read in this chapter that since Luffy. Observation hockey is on point. Sanji, Kid, Law. Obviously, not everyone had felt it because Luffy, Nami and Tama didn't feel it. Margo had to literally tell them Luffy was fine. But for the majority, everyone who had observation hockey to a degree has felt it. Zoro obviously didn't feel it. He's out dealing with his own things. He's fighting death up to this point. Still, is Zoro gonna get power up? But the one thing I do like the scene of Luffy in the middle of the moon, like in the moonlight, dancing. It's a great callback to the Jinbei and Who's Who chapter. This is the pinnacle of what I can do. This is Gear 5. I think one of the coolest panels of this chapter is the Conqueror's Hockey black lightning spewing from the hole in the roof. Conqueror's Hockey doing what it's supposed to do, knocking people the out. Luffy grabbing Kaido like he's a snake and yoinks him back on the roof. Like he's like, get back here, we ain't done. Police! Help! And then everything comes to follow has kind of started like a little bit of a pot. A little bit of a conversation. Does Luffy have the Toon Force? Does Luffy have Toon Force? And a lot of these panels kind of got people thinking that. Luffy bulks up like Popeye. Like it was very cartoony. And it spins Kaido around and we see Kaido's eyes spinning around. Like it's very cartoonish. We've seen Oda draw people with eyes popping out of their head before. It's nothing uncommon within One Piece, but the way he's doing it here are very more exaggerated. They're very more cartoonish. So I think that's why people are kind of basing it off that. But we see Luffy spinning kind of around and beating him back and forth. Like literally giving him the Hulk and Loki treatment. I think it's for comedic purposes. Maybe next chapter we'll get a more serious fight. Of course, Luffy's going to be fighting. He's like the Joker at this point. But yeah, I think it's just for comedic purposes. If Luffy does have Toon Force abilities, for sake! I don't see what's stopping him from soloing One Piece. I don't think it's going to be that, though. I think it's just for comedic purposes. And of course, everyone's fears came true when it came to the theories about Luffy's awakening. He can't affect the environment around him. It turned stuff in the rubber, as he did when Kaido threw his blast breath at Luffy, and Luffy literally grabs the ground and turns the rubber and just deflects it back. The last scene's probably one of the best ones. Luffy sitting there laughing, and it has Gear 5 underneath his body. Very cool scene. That's in the thumbnail. It's right behind me on here. But we do get to see an honorable side to Kaido, depending on where the fight goes and how badly Luffy beats him. But I do think at some point near the end, here soon, we're going to get a Kaido flashback. The chapter ending with Luffy saying, don't sweat it, let's finish this. Great chapter. Luffy has the crazy eyes. A lot of people referred that back to Emu, Mihawk. Crazy, I know, but maybe I think that's just people reaching that point. Oda just draws eyes like that. It's really nothing I think you should look into. That was a chapter overall. This chapter... Woo! But we're in the end game of Wano. We're in the end game of the series. I would say 2 more arcs and we're done. I really do.
I think we ain't done yet.
Other than that, that was a chapter. Overall, the chapter. Pacing was great. Art was good. The only problem I have with is the Hiyori and Orochi stuff being thrown kind of in the middle. Kind of ruins not the tension, but the feel of the chapter when you throw that right in the middle. Once again, I think if you put that in the beginning, better. But, regardless. The chapter overall, I gotta do it, man. This chapter overall is astounding. No doubt in my mind. This chapter of One Piece is a rating of S. It's a perfect chapter. Perfect. 10 out of 10. And that's it, I'm done. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. As always, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to join the notification squad. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day.